Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Steph, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys an FYI before you buy on the UGG Mini 2s. Now, I have had these boots for, I want to say a year and a bit now, like a year and a half, and I have definitely gotten so much love out of these. This is going to be my 1 year update, because I don't think I've given you guys a real update since I purchased them first, so shit, let me double check that. Yeah, okay, so this is the 1 year update on the UGG Ultra Minis. So I purchased these directly from UGG, and I have gotten so much wear out of these shoes. Now, UGG has changed a lot of their like materials and composition and stuff since I first bought these, so I'm not really gonna go through that too much. What I really am going to focus on in this video is I'm going to start with first my experiences with them and the sizing and all of that sort of stuff, and then I'll give you guys a quick rundown based on the UGG website. The first thing is I wear these shoes quite frequently in the fall and in the winter, and I don't really wear them a lot in the spring. Now, you can weather treat these, of course, but I just, even with the weather treating, I'm still always a little bit like, about them. I really do have some sort of like trauma or something, about loosely, first world problems, about like Uggs in the winter with salt stains and like water stains and all that sort of stuff. I went to a school where we had a uniform and we could wear Uggs in the winter, and so a lot of girls did, myself included, and there's just so much like left over from like people not taking care of their Uggs like discoloring, going green, like salt stains, like the foot smell, like oh. So I just don't wear them as like weather shoes anymore. I get a lot of questions if you got like asking me about, are these shoes good for school and all that sort of stuff, and like, yeah, they are good for school, but so many of you guys ask about the Tasmans. Like, don't get the Tasmans for school, just get like mini boots or something. Like, they're so much more comfortable, especially if you have to walk. Like, if you go to a campus style school, where all of your buildings are not in like one inside thing, like just get a pair of like ultra minis or minis. Like, just skip the clenched toe pipeline. Now, if you do feel like you can walk around in slippers all day and like not have shin splints, power to you. I remember when I could do that, but like I keep saying, there was a time before I turned 26 where I felt like I was just about unbeatable, and now I am 28. I need ankle support. I need to feel like my foot is locked in. If I wear flip-flops for more than 3 hours, I feel it in like the top of my foot and my shin and stuff, for the shins, like for days afterwards. I can't do it, guys. I am 28, but my knees are like 85 years old or something. Like, I just can't do it. If you can, power to you, but no, I would recommend these. These are my go-to boots. I like the height. Me personally, I don't like having my ankles out after a certain temperature. I think my ankles need to be securely covered in shoes, like the extra layers, so that's why these are kind of my go-to defaults. I do have a pair of regular Ultra Minis and a pair of platform Ultra Minis, and these Mini 2s are still my favorite out of all of the Uggs that I own, and I wear the Tasmans as like home shoes. Now, given that these are like my most worn shoes, they are definitely like like the bottom, yes, the fur at the bottom is tamped down. It has shaped it has shaped itself to my foot. That is pretty normal for this, and is expected. One thing that I didn't really remember, but I should have remembered, but the Uggs create, like, there's a very deep crease here, so if you want them to look crisp for longer, get the ones with the 2-inch platforms. There's just not as much bend, so you're not going to have that form. But if you have these, like, note that this is going to come up. Especially because I wear them around San Francisco as well, where we do a lot of walking. Definitely that is something. If you want to sort of avoid that, you can also stuff the toe area with like tissue or something like that during storage season if you want. I just haven't. Probably should, and try and like push the shape out a little bit, but I'm okay. I don't mind. These are like rough and ready shoes for me in terms of like they're not really rough and ready. They're like lounge and ready shoes. They're easy, throw on, whatever, good weather. Like I said, I don't wear them as weather boots. You can weatherproof them and make them waterproof. That's just not my vibe. I mean, I have weatherproofed them. I just don't wear them as like weatherproof shoes. I have other shoes for that. I'm not about to wear my Uggs out in all seasons, but you can definitely do it. I know that they were made as like surf shoes to wear like after surfers were done surfing on the beach and stuff, so there is a lot of ability to make them more element friendly, but I just personally just don't take them out in the elements. And a lot of people ask, like, are they the same boots? Like all of us, yes. When I'm sharing with you guys like 1 year updates, unless I explicitly state that I've like replaced something, it's always going to be the same pair, because I don't feel like if it's not the same pair and I don't disclose it, then you're not actually seeing the wear and tear on the shoe. I think that's really important here, especially like with these creases, right? Like if you're not into creasing shoes, I mean, it could be how I walk, but just note, like, yeah, you're gonna get this, right? I want to show you guys the wear and tear. On the sole, I have not really had a lot of wear and tear. On the back heels, there's a little bit right at the back from the heel toe-ness of it all, but nothing crazy. I've walked around quite a bit in these. These are the, I think, the Tread Light soles. So far so good. I really like them. Now with Uggs, always they are a natural fiber shoe, right? They are shearling. So there's an animal cost to them, and I'm gonna say this, and I've been saying this a lot recently, and this is just something to keep in mind. It's not like it's not a hard and fast rule or whatever, but, and I know it's really hard to get away from, there's nothing that's like 100% plastic free, but there is a lot of calls against UGG because of the fact that it is not a vegan product. And trust me, like, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this, right? I don't think that there needs to be, well, okay, so I have a lot of mixed feelings in this, in that I wish there was a better way forward. I think, like, in terms of the like faux leather world, there is a lot of progress made in terms of using like apple leather and other stuff, like not plastic derived leather. But in the shoe world, especially with like Uggs and stuff, with like the vegan Uggs and all of that sort of stuff, it's a lot of plastic fibers, it's a lot of polyesters in that. And that's not saying that polyesters are inherently bad, but if we're talking about the cost to the environment of a polyester versus to an animal, and an animal is a renewable resource, keep in mind, right? In terms of the fact that they can reproduce, all that. I know it's really horrific to think about it this way, but I like, it has to be contextualized. Animals are a more sustainable resource than an oil byproduct, and that's what a plastic is, that's what a polyester is, what vinyl is, that's what all of these things are, right? So not only is oil products non-renewable, the fossil fuels are pretty much like, once we deplete that resource, it's depleted for the next however long it takes for, you know, the fossils and everything to break down back into oil, right? It takes a very, very long time. It's not a sustainable resource at all. There's that side of it on one hand. Two, raising an animal, if you eat all parts of the animal, if you use the hoofs and gelatin and the skin and clothing, and you eat the meat or whatever, like, that is very much more sustainable than what oil is, especially if you are Canadian like myself. Oil fracking in the tar sands is very energy intensive, and definitely it is better than some of the other, like Canadian oil is better in some regards than some of the other OPEC countries. This is a whole political thing, by the way, but it's not great for the environment as well, right? I mean, there are other reasons why Canadian oil is better, but we don't necessarily know that the oil that's being used, the plastic derivatives, is coming from ethically sourced oil, or oil from countries with good human rights and all of this sort of stuff. So you have to keep that in mind as well, right? Like if somebody's saying, okay, well, the sheep was raised on a farm in Australia for the express purpose of this and the whatever, like there's traceability there, that's a lot better in terms of transparency and accountability than where plastic comes from. The other side of it is that an animal fiber or natural fiber, be it wood, cotton, whatever, yes, there is always an environmental cost to produce it or to harvest it or whatever, but it's going to degrade and it's going to like decompose. It can be, you know, broken down and recarded into other fibers, whereas a plastic isn't going to break down. And I think it's really important that we as consumers are very mindful of the greenwashing that's happening when people say recycled polyester or renewable, whatever, like vegan and all of this sort of stuff, because I know that there are a ton of people who don't want to use animal products, and that's great. But if you're not going to use an animal product and you're replacing it with a plastic that isn't going to break down, you need to really consider the cost to our planet long term. If you are opting to consume and buy and use things that are predominantly plastic that's going to just sit in the landfill versus something like a suede or like, you know, a shearling or something that after some time in the dirt is going to break down, I think we really as a society need to look at that as a problem. And I'm raising this to not say one way or the other is better. My personal opinion is that a natural fiber is always going to be better after educating myself more on what actually is happening in our landfills. But I also think that there are materials and stuff that we as humans have been using for thousands of years now, and there's never been an issue with the environmental impact of our consumption until we introduced plastics and mass consumption. So I just think that that needs to be addressed. I think maybe it's something that maybe some of you guys aren't thinking about, because I know that vegan products are pushed on us as such a positive thing, and to some extent it is a very positive thing, but there is such a long-term environmental cost of some of these that I want you guys to be aware of. I want you to, you know, look into and understand where, if the product is actually vegan where it's made from wood fiber, or it's vegan made from an oil product, and an oil product isn't actually technically vegan because it's made from fossils. I think. Let me look up what oil actually. I believe oil is from when there were inland seas and all of that life passed and sunk to the bottom and sunk to the bottom and sunk to the bottom, and it compressed, and I believe, oh, they contain no fossils. Okay, I'm mistaken. So it's tiny bacteria, plankton, and algae are the originators of oil and gas. Okay, so it's not. Okay, so anyways, it doesn't. Okay, so while oil is from like all of that stuff, like, you know, compressing over time, and that's just like, there's no guarantee that it's vegan, okay? Because there could be animals that are trapped in there. Anyways, so I just want to point that out, that I think there's a lot of greenwashing that's gone on in the last 5 years, and I fully like was susceptible to it as well. I just took a step back and I did my own research and my own education and my own critical thinking process through what it actually was, and I listened and I talked and I understood more, and I came to my own conclusion that I think I would rather use animal products and know that I'm gonna wear leather, eat meat, and, you know, have gelatin and all of this sort of stuff, and me as the consumer consume a wide variety, but knowing that my real leather pants and my real leather jackets and all of this sort of stuff are going to last me a really long time, but when I am ultimately done with them, when somebody else is ultimately done with them, when they go to a landfill, if they ever go to a landfill, or if they're burned or whatever, like, they're not going to leave behind microplastics. And that is a big concern of mine, is microplastics, and I think microplastics and plastics just floating around should be concerned. So I also address this with UGG videos because I think UGG is a company that is very specifically targeted. So I think it's all about the time and place when you're buying it, your own beliefs, how you are choosing to consume and all that sort of stuff. But I think you need to just be aware that like just because something says it's vegan doesn't actually mean that it's better for the environment. And that is my 2 cents on that. So yeah, overall, in terms of a like $120 something shoe Canadian, I love Uggs. I think they're great. I have a couple pairs, obviously. Really like them. They are my go-to kind of easy slip-on throw-on at this time of year, and I'm going to be bringing these to Boston with me for Christmas. I'm going to bring these, and I'm going to bring my Stuart Weitzmans, and I think that's it. And that's going to be kind of what I'm gonna transit with me. But I love them. I've traveled with them now. I think that they are great. They are so easy to travel with because they are so light. If you are like me and tend to wear like your heavy shoes on the plane, these are great because they're like kind of squishy and you can really easily like smush them into your bag or even into your carry-on or something, and they're great for that. They don't provide as much arch support as I think they could. I mean, they're definitely not, they're a flat shoe, but they could definitely do a little bit more in like if you're going to be wearing them for like walking a lot. Like I said, if you're a teenager, ignore what I'm saying. Like, this is not going to be relevant to you. Like, if you identify as Gen Z or younger, this is not going to be your concern. I am a young millennial, but like, honestly, I sent a TikTok to my friend today who is he's a Gen Z. And it was an Eliza Schlesinger skit talking to Gen Z and saying to Gen Z like, hey, stop attacking us millennials because like we're not the problem here. And there were so many millennial references, and I'm right on the border between millennial and Gen Z, and I very much was like, the Gen Z references are not for me, but the millennial references, I'm getting them. And I've realized I'm a millennial and I just need to embrace it. So if you're not a millennial, this is not for you, this little segment, but like, millennials, don't wear these for long periods of time. If I wear these for like a 5-6 kilometer situation, oh my god, I regret it the next day. Just wear the sneakers, just wear the sneaks, just deal with the cold. I mean, I hate cold ankles, but like I kind of would prefer to deal with the cold ankles than the residual like pain in my ankles and in my arches and in my like shins and calves. No, I can't. But yeah, I think that these are great. I think also if you guys are really having concerns about the Tasmans or the Ultra Mini Uggs, like with your feet slipping out, just get these. I promise you. I promise. These are the way to go. I think these are such a great like all-round shoes. And honestly, some people like the taller ones, and like, well, those were a thing back in the day. Spoiler alert, if you have chunky calves like I do, I have 15-inch calves, guys. Like I'm packing some muscle down there. It's like the only part of my body that has muscle. My calves like do not fit in my original pair of Uggs anymore because they just I don't know if you guys like know this. Some of us Southern Chinese humans, some, not all, are known for our thick calf muscles. It's a thing. I inherited it from my mother. She is from Singapore, but our family is originally from Guangdong. And it's a thing. My whole family has chunky calves. And I don't know why I inherited it. Like everything else about me, I got like my dad's height. I'm so lanky, but I have 15-inch calves. Like what? So if you have really chunky calves, these are like a good height. Like I promise you, like, because your calves start like up here and go up. Your feet will fit in them. If you're worried about this like circumference, definitely, yeah. I put on the old ones and I was like, thank God I got the minis because I can't wear these anymore. My calves are just too juicy for these. But yeah, that is everything. If you guys have questions about it, just let me know. But overall, I think they are, oh God, I didn't talk about sizing, did I? Holy crap, I'm so blur. I got a size 8, which is my normal size. They run in full sizes. There's like a 5, I think there's like 5 to 12 or something like that. I wish UGG did half sizes because a lot of y'all need the half sizes. Like, I think they're missing some opportunity here to not have some half sizes. But I got my whole size, which is an 8. Again, I have kind of wide feet, so it works for me. There's this whole thing, I think if you have narrow feet, you can definitely get away with sizing down. If you have wider feet, go up if you're a half size. But if you're like a 7.5, 8, like get the 8. That's what I am. It works out well for me. I think if you're like an 8.5, like I said, wide feet go up, narrow feet go down. But always with the sizing of these, like so many people ask about sizing and everybody's foot shape is different. So it's really good to, if you want to like measure your foot and look on the size guide to be really sure. But as like kind of a general rule of thumb, I think it's more comfortable to size up to the closest half size and then put on a pair of socks than to size down to like, and then have to stretch out your feet. They will stretch out a little bit, but I think it's more like, I feel like it more molds to your foot than anything else. I don't think there's a lot of give in terms of like the bottom here. So if you're having issues with width, I think that's going to be one thing. Length, you'll get a little bit at the front, but I think if you're really going to like try and push it like a full half size up, your toe here, it'll be hit or miss. That'll definitely wear out first, keep in mind. But yeah, that's everything. Now I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, please let me know down below. I'll do my best to answer them, and I will see you guys in the next video.